All right, I told you guys we were going to be making some major changes to this gun. So right now I've already installed the Huma front bottle kit. And with that, I'll be tossing a 500cc bottle on the front. These guys currently are 120 bucks shipped on Amazon. I will drop the link below. That's going to help the channel if you buy through the link. So I appreciate it if you guys do that. But the purpose of this video is not about air bottles or capacity. It is about getting rid of that stock and putting on the folding adapter so that I can make this kind of into a little backpack gun. So pretty easy install here. We've got the kit from FX, and this is going to include the actual folding stock itself, oops, and all the screws, which are great for dumping on the floor if you want to go that route. And then you also have the little plug that you're going to need to plug up the rear hole when you do the install. So we'll go ahead and get started with this, show you how to do it, and it is pretty simple. All right, so the first thing you need is about a 2mm Allen key, I think it is, and you're going to take off all of these, and then that's going to allow you to take off the other 4 Allen screws that bolt the factory stock. Obviously, we've got the gun degassed, so do make sure your gun is degassed before you start pulling it apart. So I'm going to go ahead and take off those 4, and then that'll allow me access to those 4, and that'll remove the stock. So with those 4 screws and the panels removed, we now have access to all 4 of the screws here. So we'll take those out next. I'll save you the boringness and we'll just skip to it. All right, with the factory stock removed, you can see the hole at the bottom. That's where the air goes through. We're going to need to plug that. So that's where this guy comes in. Make sure you put a little bit of silicone grease on there, and that should go right in, no problem, and seal everything up. All right, I don't know if you can see. I've got that O-ring greased up, but I've also got some Teflon tape here. And just in case, you don't need to do this, but I'm going to put some Teflon tape around those threads, thicken it up a little bit, and that will give me a little bit of peace of mind in case that tiny O-ring doesn't want to hold, 250 bar, then the Teflon tape definitely will. Okay, so I've got that Teflon tape on there just in case, got the O-ring greased up, and we'll go ahead and put that in. And you want to put that all the way in pretty well until it stops. Okay. And it should be about flush with the back there. So that should do it. And just to test before I painstakingly put the adapter back on, and all the adapter is just screw 4 screws in there and you're good. So no need to show you guys really how to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and gas this thing up and just make sure we're not leaking. Okay, so I have my 500cc bottle on there. We're going to just do a little oil test. All right, no bubbling. So we are sealed up and should be good to go.
If you have a gigantic throbbing brain, you may have noticed that I didn't remove the fill nipple from my stock and relocate it. And I admit, I did not do that in this video, and I ended up with a closed system, non-fillable gun, which was fine for the rest of the day because that 500cc tank at the 20 foot-pound tune on the compact gets like 250 shots. But at some point I wanted to be able to fill my gun. So you will need to take the fill nipple off of your factory stock and put it into the block there. And there's just a little plug that's in there. All you got to do is just simply remove the plug, screw in your fill nipple that you removed from your stock, and you're good to go. And then, and only then, will you be able to refill your gun. So don't forget that important step.
Okay, so we have the 4 screws installed there. So we can go ahead and fold that like this. And now we're going to have to install a buffer tube from an AR-15. This part is pretty easy, and there is a set screw right here to hold it down. So you don't need to like stake the buffer tube plate like you would an AR-15. So we'll get into that next. Okay, so we have just a standard UTG buffer kit for an AR-15. Again, you can get all of this stuff at High Pressure Pneumatics, which is www.myhighpressureair.com. But for the buffer kit, we're not going to need the buffer itself that you can save for your AR-15. And we're also not going to need the end plate. And the end plate is usually what gets staked to the castle nut. And so there's going to be no staking here. And instead, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a small set screw right there that we'll put in. So between that set screw and just the castle nut being tight, it should be good enough. You're probably going to want an AR-15 castle nut wrench. I think I have one in the shed. So let me fit this up and then we'll do that part next. All right, so this is what a AR-15 armorer's tool. Looks like you probably have one of these because it's America. So what you want to do is use this to tighten your castle nut there to the adapter. And before you do that, you want to just make sure everything is lined up straight. And a good way to do that with this system is to just get it, make sure everything's lined up, put the set screw in a bit, and then torque down your castle nut. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll do that off camera here since it'll be hard to film, but that's the basic idea. All right, so there it is. We got it installed. So I've put the folding stock adapter on here and a 500cc bottle. And check this out. Now I can fold this down to bite size, take off the moderator, and probably fit this right in a backpack. Keep in mind, I've got the scope cam on it, so the scope actually ends right about here. But now this thing is definitely truck gun worthy. So very cool, and I love the dynamic block for all the capabilities you can do with it. You can have this thing 177 shooting sub 12 foot-pounds, all the way up to 357 shooting like 250 foot-pounds. Just in the one block. So tons of capability here. And you can get all of this stuff from High Pressure Pneumatics, www.myhighpressureair.com. So hopefully you found the install video helpful here, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.